I have been talking about the benefits of immigrants to have the opportunity to join the U.S. military, whether you want to join the Army, you want to join the Marines, you want to join the Navy, you want to join the Air Force. It's up to you. There are so many benefits. I will go to highlight this later, but recently I received one question, and that question made me to make this particular video. The question is, what are the differences between active duty and reserve? And as an immigrant, I'm coming to America, I have won the DV lottery, or I've got the green card through family, marriage, or sponsorship of my family. If I want to join, which component do you suggest? Are you suggesting I go as full active duty, or should I go as reserve? And will I receive the same benefits, respect, and all those kind of things? So that is a bigger question. But the subset of that, I will go to tell you or share with you again, in case you haven't listened, to know the benefits of joining the military. One of the things usually I like to do, for those people who have been following me here on my YouTube channel, is I prefer to talk things in detail, especially the things which I know very well, or the things I have done myself. For those, if you do not know, I had the opportunity and the privilege to serve in one of the finest military, U.S. military. I was in the U.S. Navy. So this is me. Now, while I was in the Navy, here I was in Australia. We're in deployment, and that is when we were in the boot camp. We're about to finish, and this were in the deployment in Japan. So just know that I was not just like, I lost a lot of weight. I was so much fit back in the day. So I don't know when I'll go back to be like this way. So that's how it was back in the day when we were in the military. So welcome everyone. This is Ernest Boniface Makulilo EBM talking to you from my home office here in Belton, Missouri, United States of America. And today I want you to do 3 things. Number 1, subscribe in case you haven't done so. Number 2 is to like the video. If you want to comment, you can ask there, I can be able to answer. But number 3, which is the most important also, is to share to others. Those will be the best thing you can be able to do and give me the energy to continue making these videos and sharing my experience and the things I know which can be able to succeed. So before I go and tell you the benefits of joining the military, I have to explain you like a few things about the US military you need to know if you want to join. Number 1, when you are going to join, you choose. You want to do active duty or you want to do a reserve. That will be the first thing. Then, obviously, there is officer and there is enlisted. But obviously, if you are immigrant, you have just green card, no matter your education level, you'll be enlisted. In order to become officer, you must be a U.S. citizen and a bachelor degree. But if you don't have U.S. citizenship and you have bachelor or master's or PhD, you still go as enlisted. Myself, I joined as enlisted despite of having master's degree, and I will explain about that one. So you need to know that one. Then you need to know a little bit about these branches. What do they do in general before you just show up and you just go whatever branch they are going to choose for you. So you need to know specifically and how you can go there. And then, despite whatever the branch you are going to do, you need to know what are the benefits of serving the military. All military personnel, regardless of the branch, you'll be receiving the same or similar benefits. There will be very slight things when you are active duty. I will explain about that. So, I'm talking now as if you'll be going as enlisted. Maybe you are not officer. You are not a U.S. citizen yet. But if you're a U.S. citizen, you go direct and apply. You are a U.S. citizen with a bachelor degree, you go direct and apply as officer, and you go to OCS school. Yeah. So that's what you are going to do. But majority of people are going as enlisted. So myself, I went as enlisted. So when I was going there, for me, I chose the U.S. Navy. Why I chose the U.S. Navy? Number 1, back in that time I was joining, 2012. The number 1, there is age requirement. The age requirement, Navy and Army was 35. And the Air Force back then was not, now is I think 37. It was below 30. It was below 30, I think, that time, I think. And then Marines was also 29 or 30, something like that. And at the time I was processing, I was almost 29 going 30 years old. So obviously I had very few options. Should I go to become Army or should I go to become Navy? So that is when, so for me, number one was age, was one determining factor why I went to the Navy. Then, before I go to explain about versus now I had the Navy and Army to make the distinction, you have to know what are these branches do in general, even if you want to do in particular, in specific, but in general. For instance, Army, Marines are battlefield people in the forefront. That's number one. Navy are the supporting team through the ocean. Yes, they can fight, but they fight from the ship. Then Air Force, they support from the air. So in most cases, if you see most of the wars, like in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all other wars, most of the people, the Navy, are not there because there is no ocean there to go with a ship. Yes, there are some people, Navy, who were deployed to Afghanistan. Like if you were a corpsman, for instance, you can be able to be deployed. For instance, if you are Navy SEAL, you are SWIC, you are Special Force in general. So there are those kind of, it depends on what kind of job you are really doing, make you to go in the forefront. But majority of the Navy, we don't go there. So that's why on the picture here, for instance, on the picture here, I'm showing you the deployment. This was Australia. So you see, you deployed in Australia. There is no war in Australia. We went to Japan. This picture, I was in Japan. This is Japan in the naval base of the naval base in Japan. So you see, those are the things you needed to know the difference between one branch and over the other. So for me, I said, okay, the safer one is Navy. Obviously, there is swimming part, but I was very safe in the Navy, and even the training is not harder like in Army or Marines. So that was number one. Then let's go to the decision, whether should I go active or whether should I go enlisted. When I was joining, number one, I didn't know much of the difference between active and the reserve because I already made my mind I want to go active. So I didn't want to read more about the reserve. But if right now, let's say in my current state, if I have to make a decision whether should I go active or I go reserve, I'll choose to go to reserve. And the difference at that time, the reason I was having were obvious. I have to go as active duty. So active duty, just like the name suggests itself, active, it means you are active, you are every day. So it is a full-time military. That means you will be 24/7 government property. You are a military person. Reserve, you are a backup. You are a part-time. And I'll explain what does that mean. So that is the difference. Someone is a full-time, another person is a backup, is a part-time. So that is the major difference. So if you are full-time, that means your job location will be determined by the needs of the government or the military in general. I can simply say it that way. So if you can be given like 3 choices to choose from this particular area, but you have to go where the base is. For instance, if you're in the Navy, you cannot just say, oh, I want to go to be stationed in maybe, let's say, in Arizona. While Arizona, there is no ocean like most of the people they are stationed. Yes, there will be some people there, depending on the recruiters and the other position, they will be in Arizona. But majority of the people, they will be in the ship because if you're in the Navy, even if you were active duty, let's say in the Marine, you were in the Air Force, you were whatever, you'll be in the base. You will be stationed attached to a base or to a unit or to a ship. So the location of the job is determined. But if you are reserve, let's say for instance now I live in Missouri and I want to join as a reserve, I go to the training and I come back to my home state. So I choose where I'm going to live because I'm part-time. That's one thing you need to know. By part-time, that means I can have my other job, like I can be a teacher, I can be a professor, I can be a banker, I can be whatever. I work on my normal daily job, and then on a few occasions, I have to do the military assignments. How do you do that? Number one, in every month, 2 days of the month, one of the weekend of the month, you go to do some training. So for instance, if you're in Missouri, you'll go to one of the bases. If there is a base there, wherever you'll go, and you are going to do a drill, just like a training kind of that. So you're going to work those 2 days in a month. And in the summer, you are going to do full summer, like 3 months or 2 or 3 months, whatever. You are going to be full-time active for that summer. You can ask the question, so what happens? I'm a banker, I'm an engineer. What happens to my job? There is, in the US laws, if someone is a reserve, and if you have another job, when the time comes to go to do the drill, the government assignment, even if it will be deployment, your job will be secured, your job will continue to be there. Obviously, you will not be paid while you are not, you'll not be paid by your company, you'll be paid with the government or the military while you are active in that particular time. So you see the difference how it is. For that particular case, you'll continue to have your civilian life, live at your own home, wherever, and go on 2 days in a month. And during the summer, you do like 2 or 3 months for the summer. Every single day, your job will continue to be there. And obviously, you'll be doing deployment like any other person. So the other difference is, if I go as enlisted, I have 4 years of contract of active duty, because I'm full-time. And if you go as a reserve, you have the first initial contract is 6 years. So that is the major difference you see, the timeline. But if you look like, if you calculate how many hours someone in the active duty is going to spend on those 4 years versus you are going as a part-time, even if it is 6 years, you are doing fewer time or less hours compared to this other person who is active. So for that particular case, the salary you want to get the same. So if you are working, for instance, on a mining company, on your civilian job, they are not to continue to pay you while you are working on another job. You will be paid by the military on those 2 days in the weekend, of the once in 2 days in a month when you go to work, and also during the summer, and when you do the deployment, when you are actively wearing the uniform and going to work, you will be paid by the military. But in the normal day, you are not a full active, full-time military person. So for me, when I was making the decision, I wanted to be a full-time. Because for me, among other things, I want to take it as a job. Because it was in the middle of the job, was difficult. So that was among other reasons, this is a job. So I want to be full active. So I didn't want to look more about that one. But again, what the other benefits will be the same. So let's say when you talk about if you are, let's say you are reserve, or you are active, you do the same boot camp or basic military training. You do the same. If you go to the Navy, same 8 weeks. If Army, I don't know, it's 9 or 10 weeks. You do the same drill, same instruction, same everything. Once you graduate, you go to the A school. Some they have C school, advanced school. You do that. Once you finish, then you are going, if you is a reserve, is going to whatever, to the home time. If for like active, I'm going to the base, to what I've been assigned. If you have a family, you will be living outside, you'll be paid, they are going to give you also the money for housing. So that is another benefit we'll be talking about. But that is the difference. But when it comes to, if you want to become a citizen, if you're a green card holder, because in order to join, you have to be a green card holder or a US citizen. So if you're a green card holder, whether you are reserve, whether you are active, during the boot camp, you are given the opportunity, if you want to become a US citizen, and you will not pay the money for to become a US citizen. All the paperwork is just processed there. You obviously have to do the citizenship test. You have to do that way. So I did the same way. And I know there is one guy from Ghana, was a reserve. He became a citizen just through that way too. So you will become a citizen. That is one of the benefit. Other benefit, let's say education benefit, like there is something called GI Bill or the Montgomery GI Bill, whatever. So there are two types of GI Bill, whatever. But whatever the case, you are all going to meet the same requirement. As long as if you are reserve, you must have a commitment of 6 years to save. You also have the benefit of getting the VA home loan. When we say the VA home loan, when you want to purchase a home in America, you have to pay the down payment. It can be up to 20%, 15%, whatever it is. You have to pay certain percent of the down payment for the house. But if you are a U.S. military person, or you are a veteran, for instance, for me, I'm a veteran. When I was purchasing the home, I don't need to pay the down payment. So that is something. So when I was purchasing the home, for me, I only pay $1,000 and that was just not for the house, was for the inspection only. So that is the advantage of joining the military. So again, so other benefits, they cannot be exactly like the one directly related to the military, but some they are outside. So when you are going to find a job in a civilian world, you'll be able to be given the higher priority. Like any job you are going to apply, you will find on the application form, they will ask you, are you a US veteran? And if you're a veteran, have you served as a, did you discharge as honorable discharge? So all those kind of things will be able to help you to get a job very, very quick. But if you are applying for the government job, there are 50 people applying, and they say the minimum education requirement is bachelor degree. And there are people with a PhD, whatever the experience they have. But if the minimum is bachelor degree, and there are 50 people, and you are the only one with that bachelor degree, the other people with masters and PhD, you'll be given that job because you are a veteran. So that is another advantage. Okay, apart from that, other advantages, if you serve, for instance, you come here, you work so hard, you become green card holder, you become a US citizen, you are still considered more as immigrant. But if I go, for instance, to talk to people, and they come to know that, or in the interview, I'm applying the job, and I'm there as a veteran, they are not going to question whether, how do I know Swahili? How did was I born in another country? Whatever. So when I'm going to put my paperwork there, they'll be looking for me. This guy is a veteran. This guy is a patriotic. US is the most patriotic country. So those are the advantages. So whenever you meet with anybody knows that you served in the military, the conversation takes to the higher level. So even if any normal American comes here and you say, you know, you have to go back to your home country, whatever, I mean, so what have you done to America? For me, I did it the way the uniform. You see, I wear the uniform. You, the day I die, the US president will write the letter to my family with special signature, the ink signature, not the fake one, to my family. I will have the military procession if I want. So there are things you cannot take away from forever. It's another type of company. So those are some of the benefits. There are so many benefits if you decide to join the military. So that's why I tell people, even if you don't want to be full-time and everything, just go as part-time. In the end, you serve in the military. It doesn't matter. There is no lesser that, oh, this guy was in reserve, but still you served, you did wear the uniform. There is no difference in terms of uniform. We all wear the same uniform. We went to the same training. So that's why I say, like, if I have to join now because I've already a lot of experience, I have other jobs, I will go as a reserve and continue with my civilian life. But at that time, I wanted a job full-time, not a reserve, and want to have a full experience. And my plan was to, from enlisted to become officer, and I was approved to become intel officer, but I didn't go. I had to separate it for family reason or medical-related reasons. So those are the few things I want to share with you so that you can understand and make a good decision if you want to join the US military, whether reserve or active. The choice is yours, but no matter what, try your best to serve the military. Thank you so much.